What's up? Jordan here from FitAF. Today I'm going to give you a step-by-step approach to putting together your own weight loss nutrition program. This is pretty much the exact framework I use for programming for clients. It's how I put my own nutrition plans together for myself. The benefit of setting up your diet this way is that it is extremely precise. It is very customizable to your own unique goals, your body statistics, and the data I'm going to give you is based off of the most recent research we know in terms of what is optimal, what level should we be shooting for. So as long as you follow everything I tell you to do, you will be successful. If not, send me hate mail. I'll help you can figure out what you might be doing wrong. Anyways, let's begin. So, where do we start? If you've been following me for the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 videos I posted, or follow any of the evidence-based strength guys, or just know your foundations of nutrition and health, then you know energy balance is number one. Energy balance, how much energy we consume and expend, is going to dictate what our body does. It tells our body that, hey, we're going to be losing weight, we're going to stay the same, we're going to gain weight. So it makes sense that we need to shoot for a specific amount of calorie intake on a daily basis. Now, I don't care if you wait till noon to eat breakfast. I don't care if you don't eat a lot of carbs. I don't care if you don't eat meat. I don't care if you drink apple cider vinegar in the morning. I don't care if you remove the yolks from your eggs. None of that shit matters. None of it matters unless you address energy balance as a whole. If removing the eggs helps you get into an energy deficit, that's fine. I still prefer to eat a whole egg. It just tastes better. Fucking egg whites suck. So how do we figure out what our energy requirements are? Really, the only thing we could do is make a very educated a very educated guess, and we could do that through a couple different calculations. Now, the calculation I'm going to give you is pretty straightforward. It's relatively easy to do on your own, and will give us a really good starting point. So we are going to take our body weight and multiply that by 10. Once we get that number, we are going to multiply that number by an activity multiplier of 1.2 to 1.9. So let me start over. I'm going to take my body weight. I'm about 200 pounds. I'm going to multiply that by 10. That puts me at about 2,000 calories. Now we choose an activity multiplier, and the range I gave you was 1.2 to 1.9. So the activity multiplier basically takes into account physical activity, so exercise, but also NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. How much are you moving around throughout the day? Do you have a desk job where you sit on your ass from 9 to 5? Do you work a construction job where you're lifting heavy things and moving around all day? Those all clearly influence energy expenditure and need to be taken into account when we calculate our daily caloric goal. So, if you sit at a desk job and you don't exercise, your activity multiplier will be around 1.2. If you exercise 5-6 days a week pretty intensely, if you're a roofer or a construction guy as well, you're probably going to be upwards of 1.9. For sake of easy math, I'm going to choose 1.5. So I'm going to take the 2,000 calories that I initially calculated, multiply that by 1.5, and that is going to give me 3,000 calories. Now, that is my maintenance caloric goal. That is not what I'm going to necessarily shoot for when I'm trying to lose weight. This number we're getting is our maintenance calories, basically how much energy we need just to stay the same. So from here, we are going to subtract between 300 and 500 calories from the number we get. Now, if I'm consuming around 3,000 calories or higher, I might choose to start with 400 to 500 calories, subtracting from my maintenance calories in order to get my daily caloric goal. If your maintenance calories are around 2,000 calories, you might opt for maybe 300 calories initially, because the name of the game isn't to get into this huge calorie deficit immediately. The name of the game is to start losing weight, consuming as many calories as we can, because we know that we're going to only have to lower that as we go along. The lower your caloric intake, the more apt you will be to losing lean mass, to losing muscle, to screwing up your metabolism long term and things like that. So, step one, calculate maintenance calories, body weight times 10, and then the activity multiplier of 1.2 to 1.9, and then we subtract between 300 and 500 calories. So that gives us our daily caloric goal to shoot for. Right now, I'm at 2,500 calories. That's how many calories I'm going to consume on a day-to-day basis. Okay, step two is to determine where those calories are coming from, namely carbs, proteins, and fats. So we have to prioritize, because when we are in an energy deficit, we're basically saying I'm going to be short on a specific macronutrient or two. And what macronutrient do we not want to necessarily give up? That is protein. Protein we want to hold at a moderate to high level. This is because protein will allow us to prioritize lean mass when we're losing weight, so that we are losing the highest percentage of weight coming from fat, not from lean mass. We do not want to lose muscle. Muscle is metabolically active. It keeps our metabolic rate high. It's important for a bunch of other reasons. But protein also is very satiating. It helps us stay full throughout the day. Protein also has the highest effect on the thermic effect of feeding, where 30% of the calories associated with protein already basically get used up just by digesting and assimilating protein. Your body uses energy to digest protein. So for all these reasons, we want to calculate protein first. To calculate protein, we could do, I use two formulas. I pretty much use the first, but I'm going to give you another one that's a little bit easier. So the first formula is my weight in kilograms times between 2.2 and 2.8 grams of protein per kilogram. Okay, so if I have to start over. So my weight, my lean body mass weight in kilograms times 2.2 to 2.8. So we're looking at lean body mass specifically. This allows us to be very specific with our protein requirements. So for example, if I'm 200 pounds and I'm 10% body fat, that means I have 180 pounds of fat-free mass. 180 pounds in kilograms is, let's call it 85 kilograms. So I'm going to take 85 kilograms and multiply that from anywhere between 2.2 to 2.8 grams. And that's going to give me my daily protein intake. Now, that takes a little bit more effort than this other equation I'm going to give you. The other equation is basically take your body weight in pounds and simply multiply it by anywhere between 0.8 and 1.2. They will give you around the same number. I like the first option better. It's just more specific. I like to be as specific as possible when I do this, but keeping things in pounds and multiplying it by 0.8 to 1.2 works just as well, and will give you a good starting point. Now, where along that 0.8 to 1.2 spectrum do you fall? You have to take into consideration how active you are and your age. If you're more active, you primarily will take in higher amounts of protein. If you are older, you will also want to take in higher amounts of protein. So if I'm 200 pounds, let's say I want to do 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So I'm going to be consuming 200 grams of protein. Now, we have my daily caloric goal, which is 2,500 calories. We now know how many grams of protein we're going to intake. So now I need to subtract the calories coming from protein from my daily caloric goal, so that we could figure out, with the rest of the calories I have each day, how many of those are coming from fat and how much is coming from carbohydrate. So 200 grams of protein times 4 calories, which is how many calories are in each gram of protein, is 800 calories coming from protein. So 2,500, you're taking your daily caloric goal minus the protein calories. So for me, 2,500 minus 800 is 1,700 calories. So with those 1,700 calories, now it's time to determine how many of those we want to come from fat, how many of those we want to come from carbohydrate. Now, what is best? Okay. It is clearly shown that so long as calories, protein, and fiber are held constant, where we derive the rest of our energy from does not matter from a weight loss perspective. That means that if you keep calories the same, if you compare two groups of people in an isocaloric diet, same amount of calories, same amount of protein and fiber, you could have high fat, low carb guys over here, low fat, high carb guys over here, and they will lose the same amount of weight. There is no difference. There's no benefit to one or the other. That might be surprising to some of you. Some of you might be like, that's crazy. I don't believe you. Dave Asprey says I need to eat low carb so I could be bulletproof. That's fine. Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just telling you what clear meta-analyses say, which, you know, is kind of trumps anything that Dave Asprey could ever say. Dave Asprey tends to say things that help Dave Asprey sell things. Anyways, sorry for that tangent. So, I have 1,700 calories left. So really, fat and carb intake comes down to preference and activity level. Now, if you are somebody who enjoys eating high-fat foods, then you want to allocate a majority of those calories to come from fat. If you don't care about fat and you're very active, then maybe you want to allocate those calories to come from carbohydrate. So I'm going to give you a pretty straightforward calculation. Again, don't beat me up over this. I know there's 1,001 ways to do this, but this is based off of some pretty good data saying what is optimal for a relatively active person who wants to maintain their strength and hypertrophy in the gym, recover well, and feel overall good. So with the remaining calories, for me, that was 1,700. After we subtracted protein calories from our daily caloric goal, we are going to take that number and we are going to choose that 30 to 40% of those calories are going to come from fat. So if I'm at 1,700 calories, I'll take 30% of that, and that will be fat calories. I really don't want to do this math, but so 30% of 1,700 calories is, I think, 500, a little over 500, right? So if I'm consuming 500 calories coming from fat, I basically divide that number by 9, which is how many calories are in each gram of fat to get my total fat intake for the day. And then from there, we just take the rest of the calories, divide it by 4, and that's how many carbohydrates we're going to hit for the day. It's pretty straightforward. So to recap, first, we find maintenance calories. Then we subtract 300 to 500 and determine our caloric deficit, our daily caloric goal for the day. That's step one. Step two is then determining how many grams of carbs, proteins, and fat we're going to eat. We start with protein. I give you two equations, either lean body mass in kilograms times 2.2 to 2.8, or just take your weight in pounds, multiply it by 0.8 to 1.2. That'll give you your protein intake in calories. You divide that by 4 to calculate grams. Then you'd want to basically determine how many grams of carbohydrate and fat. You subtract the protein calories from your daily caloric goal and divvy that up between protein and fat. I told you 30 to 40% of that will be fat and the rest will be carbohydrate. Okay, that was a lot in a relatively short period of time. I think I did pretty well. Again, if you follow this, you will be successful. If not, shoot me a shitload of hate mail. Please. I would be very surprised that if so long that you did a good job at tracking and watching this, you will be more than successful. And again, why do we do this? Why don't we just, say, I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to cut out, going out to eat. I'm going to cut out beer. This gives us objective measures. So in weight loss, there's a lot of variables. And if we just start eating clean, we might lose weight for a few weeks. But what happens when we plateau? We have no metrics, no variables, no constants, no numbers to look at and be like, okay, this is what I was consuming. These are the results I was getting. And now I'm consuming this, and now my results are this. And the more data we have, the more precisely we can make little changes. If you're consuming 2,000 calories and you lost a pound a week for a month and then you stopped, now we could say, okay, maybe I need to drop another 200 calories. Maybe my metabolism slowed a little bit. Maybe I lost enough weight where my body isn't expending as much energy because I don't have as much mass to move around. There's a lot of things to consider, but without getting into the weeds of it, this is a really straightforward way, really the ideal way to program your nutrition plan. I promise you, you won't be disappointed if you put the work up in front. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I, again, am from FitAF Nutrition. We do nutrition coaching for people where we work one-on-one. We help them calculate where they should be. We make changes on an ongoing basis, and we monitor their progress along the way. If that's something you're interested in, hit me up, fitafnutrition.com. You'll see that there's a FitAF nutrition coaching link there. That's enough plugs. I'm not trying to sell you shit. I'm generally doing this because I kind of like it. I think it helps, and let me know if this is helping, because I will continue to do it. If you find me annoying, if you can't stand to look at my face, tell me and I'll stop. I hope not. It'll make me feel bad. But anyways, I will see you guys later. Bye.